you Multicultural channel. This time on the Newcomer Network, we will be talking about parenting styles, parenting in Manitoba. And today I have an early childhood educator, level 3, and she's Lis Marroquin Jilani. Hi Liz, how are you?
Hi, it's good to be here.
I am so happy that you're here. And we always bring a specialized people to discuss our topics. And when I was thinking about parenting, you're the best person to talk about because first, you are an early childhood educator. You have been working with children for many years. You are a newcomer. You're coming from different backgrounds and you are experiencing being a mother in Canada. So I'm so happy. I think you're the perfect guest for this.
Well, I don't know where to start. Well, okay, so I came from El Salvador when I was 7 years old. I came with my mom and my dad, and I didn't have any siblings at that time, but I was already 7. When I was around 10, that's when I had my first sibling, and because there was a big age gap, I ended up being kind of the babysitter, the second mom, actually, because my mom was going to English classes, my dad was working, so I kind of became a second mom to my brothers.
Do you have any memory? How was everything when you were 7 years old back in your country?
I remember a bit, but it was pretty, I was an only child for a while, so I was always looking for someone to be with, or one thing we didn't have over there, we didn't have daycare, right? We didn't do that. So I was ready to go to school. I'm at the kindergarten. There was a kindergarten, I think, down the street, and I was like, I want to go to kindergarten, because it was kind of, I don't know, for me it was a little bit lonely for where I was, and I so wanted to be around kids. And I see that that's a big difference now, because here, even from babies, they're already more socialized into the Canadian, I guess, community and Canadian culture, because they grow up going to daycare a little bit, and then they go. So for me, it was a big shock when I came here, and I was like, okay, finally when I went to school, and then when I came here, it was different because we didn't know the language too. So it was a shock at the beginning when we came.
You know, Liz, even if it's common right now in our countries that we also have takers, but many people have an auntie, a grandma who takes care of the children.
Yeah.
So
that's where I came in. I helped my family with my brothers, right? But anyone else, we didn't have any extended family here to go, to ask them for help or whatever. It was it was tough. I think my mom had a tough time when she came, because she didn't know any English, and she really, really had to go to and get it all start trying to learn as much as she could.
And these are challenges that newcomers face when they come here. They don't have the language sometimes.
Yeah.
And
she had a bachelor's from El Salvador already, and they did not recognize it here. So she had to start completely fresh from anything.
This is another challenge. This is another challenge. I remember when I came here, I noticed, for example, in parenting, it's very different.
It is different too. I think the levels of the ways of discipline is different. I don't know. Nowadays, maybe things have changed in El Salvador, because this was how many years back, but it was very different. For any little something small, we would right away, and then here, whoa, you can't do that. You can't raise your hand on the child, and it's very
and punishment.
Yeah.
Okay, you are time.
La chancla.
La chancla.
The slipper.
Yeah.
We did that. They don't do that here.
Yeah.
So that I've seen that some of those things are different. Yeah.
And this is why they are creating so many parenting programs.
Yeah.
For parents to understand why we raise the children the way we do here in Canada. And it's very interesting.
Yeah.
And at the beginning, I didn't understand because I'm an early childhood educator too. But after taking many programs, I understood why, and I really like it.
Yeah.
I really like it.
Yeah, it's funny because you think because we're in this culture that it's not seen as proper or whatever to discipline your child physically, like it's more talking about it and trying to find them to help them see the reason and why, why that's not right, this is not, and this is right, this is wrong, and why I should do. But when I had a home daycare for 10 years.
Wow.
And some of the parents, even the Canadian parents, are like, oh, you can do it. I give you permission. And I was like, no, we're not allowed to do that. Like we can't. I'm licensed. I am not allowed. And so you think it's different, but there's still some old-fashioned families out there who try to keep that.
Oh,
I was like, so I had to find. I was in that position where I'm like, I have to educate the Canadian families. I'm like, no, it's not okay. It's not okay. Like, I cannot, that's not legally, I cannot raise my hand on your child. Like I will talk to them as much as I can. We will try to, do positive discipline, positive reinforcement when they do something good. Really focus on the good stuff and then try to kind of, brush off the bad stuff. And that's the way to guide them, right? By doing the positive reinforcement.
Yeah. Lis, now that you're talking about the positive guidance and reinforce those positive behaviors, I'm thinking about as an adult. Sometimes we are so hard on ourselves.
Yeah.
And we focus on the negative things and we don't see the positive things. I believe it's because of that. Because when we were children, our parents focused on what I did that was maybe not appropriate.
Yeah.
But when I did something good, something nice, maybe they didn't clap. They said, oh, Lis, oh, Jocelyn, you did great.
Yeah.
I am so proud of you. So
for Latinos, it's very hard to get a compliment from a parent. I think that's what I've noticed. They're very strict. Like they when you do something wrong, right away. But when you do something right, you have to kind of get it out of them. Like, oh, did you like that? Oh, how did I do? Like, I feel like you're always trying to please, because you don't get that praise. You don't get enough praise. And I think that is one of the big differences between the cultures. Because here we celebrate every little thing, every little milestone. They're celebrating it. And
And what do you think about recognizing our feelings and emotions?
Oh, in my family, we never talk about our feelings. We never talk about. What is that? They laugh at you.
Why are you crying?
They laugh at you. or in a different way, they're like, we're going to give you something to cry about for real. They say like that. And I'm like, pero that's the way.
Yeah.
We just, whenever, like, they would get so uncomfortable with emotions and feelings and talking about it. They never talk about it.
Yeah.
And that's something that actually now I see my mom and how she is with my daughters. And I'm like, who are you? Who are you? Because she was so strict with me. And then now I'm like, holy, like, and I feel like I have to be more strict because I'm like, hey, like, no, you can't take her to McDonald's again. Like, it's like, so it's kind of weird. It's kind of weird, but it's been quite a while now. So I think she's like acclimated to the culture here, and she sees that. Plus, I guess she doesn't have the responsibility of parenting anymore. So she's like,
I think grandparents are like that. I don't think it's about Canada.
And that's all. I think in all cultures, the grandparents are totally different. But I think they realize too that maybe they didn't have to be so harsh at that time. Now they realize that, you can teach, you can educate in a positive way, in a gentle way,
And it happens to me. I always say there's a before and after in my life since I came to Canada, even with my children.
Yeah.
Because I try my best. I won't say I always, but I try my best to recognize their achievements and to say, I'm so proud of you, even when they do wrong.
Yeah.
And when they do something, focus on the positive things. But I have taken lots of parenting programs.
I know.
And I understand.
Yeah.
And sometimes I get upset, mad. but I breathe. I don't talk to them until I calm down. Recognizing feelings is very important. Sometimes we don't feel comfortable.
And having that language of feelings, like sometimes, from what I grew up, there was only like happy, mad, sad, or and then there's so many descriptions of how you feel. Like I feel, or depressed. Like if you feel depressed,
why
if you say that word depressed? What? They're like, ¿qué es eso? Like they're like, what are you talking about?
No,
go make yourself busy, like.
Yeah, I'm bored.
Yeah.
I'm bored. I don't know what?
Why? They don't. Yeah, but now, but with time, I think my mom has recognized too, because I've seen times where she was struggling, and then I voiced it, and then she's like, I didn't even think about it. I didn't even know how I'm feeling. Like they don't. I think the parents are doing the best they can with what they know, what they came with. And then when you're raised here and you start to see these patterns of things that you do, you can actually help them. You can recognize for them and give them the language that they didn't grow up with. Like I'm not saying the English language. I'm saying the language of emotions and language of feelings and describing how you're feeling better, because for them they only have those three. It's very hard to describe the things that you're feeling. And my parents went through a hard time. Like when they came here, they start from nothing. Like they were hard workers in El Salvador. They had professions, and then here they had nothing. So I get it. Like it was really tough when they came. But now, as I've grown up here, and I married someone who's not he was born here in Canada, but he's half Polish, he's half Pakistani. So we have in our family,
multicultural.
It's a big clash of cultures and religions and everything in there. So we've had to do it's all communication. Like we had to communicate. We had to really talk about, okay, how we're gonna do this. When we have kids, what we're gonna do. How we're gonna. And that has been the saving grace. Now, I'm not saying we haven't been perfect parents. We've had lots of struggles as well. In with our kids. And also because our kids are so different. They're none of them, no. They're so different. Well, the first one, she's very introverted. The second one, she's kind of in between. The third one, she's extroverted. She'll go with anyone. She'll go, we have to really watch her, because she, we put her here and she's gone, the next minute. So we have to really, so we get all these different, challenges thrown at us as parents, because the kids are so different.
Most of the people who follows this community are newcomers.
Mm-hmm.
This is the Newcomer network.
Yeah.
So it's important to understand that.
Mm-hmm.
And there is a reason why. So when a child speaks out, just understand that this is not being disrespectful.
Mm-hmm.
And it's important to have this channel of communication open.
Yeah.
And a child will trust you.
Compared to what my parents and I, we were never like friends. We never talk like friends. That's one thing I can tell. Even up to this day, my mom and I, we never talk as like friends. There's always I don't know. There's always
a barrier between.
Yeah, there's always something because of respect, and I feel like that is something ingrained in me. I still say usted, to my mom. I don't say mama, mami. I don't say tú. I don't say tú to her. I don't, and I don't know. But that's the way I. But you know what? My mom, when she trained me, when she says Lizette, que manda. That was what I had to say to her. Que manda.
Or let's say that in English.
Que manda.
First, Liz.
Uh-huh.
In English, you is the same.
Yeah.
In Spanish, you can mean you informal, but that means tú, but you, usted.
When you're talking to someone, you can talk to them informally, using you, tú, or you can talk to them formally with respect, which is usted. So when you meet someone, you talk to them with respect. You say, usted, hola, ¿cómo está? And we say, it's very, you kind of have to ask permission to get, can I say tú to you? And then, but in English, they don't have that. Yeah. So my kids have grown up, they don't have that. And that was a huge difference, like compared to my mom when I would call, like she would call me, you know, I would like, "Que manda?" And I would say, "Que manda" means, what is your order?
Yeah.
Like, what is your request? Like, you know, or manda. Manda is more than order. Well, yeah, what do you order? Like, that was a common response to when a parent calls you, "Que manda?" You know,
And you know something also that happens, you have to do this. Why? Because I'm your mother.
yeah.
Or you need to respect me because I'm your mother. But
Yeah.
I was disrespectful to my child. So
Yeah.
that means that parents can disrespect the children. Like and when they are studying school here and they see the difference with the teachers, with the people around, and we as parents, they start like thinking there's some confusion here.
That, well, in my case, I definitely saw the difference, and I would be like, my teacher, they would say, like, now I had a teacher, she didn't even want me to call her Mrs. She would just say, "Tracy, I'm Tracy," you know. And then I was like, no, that's weird. Like, I can't call you by your name. You're my teacher, you're my maestra. And yeah, like it's lots of differences when it comes to the respect aspect of it. But there's also because of those barriers, right? So we have these boundaries between our families, between our parents, between our teachers. So we're not as comfortable coming to them when we have a problem, too. So I hid a lot of things from my mom, like growing up, because I was like, you know, I didn't feel comfortable talking about it. But looking back, I'm like, you know what, that was pretty important. I should have told her. I should have said something. I should have done, you know, this and that. But I feel like it was because I was scared. I wasn't sure how they would respond and how would they. So now I feel like there is more openness between families, especially like here is more the communication and also talking about anything. Like I noticed that here they really stress, like, talk to your child, and whatever they're into at that moment, you get in there with them. It's not so much the child has to get up here to the parents level. It's like the parents have to get down to the kids level and start when they're little, you know, so that when they're little, they can come to you that's how they build the trust, right? And then, but like to go from like all of a sudden trying to build all this trust that should have happened within all these years and just all of a sudden expect it, it's very hard. And I don't know, I like my mom, I feel like she just expected me to be like open and everything. Like as soon as I turned 18, I'm like, oh, she's trying to be more open. I was like, no, I didn't grow up that way. And then now seeing her with like my kids, I was like, who are you? It's weird. It's different.
Yeah.
It's different.
And something I noticed also that can be challenging at the beginning is that we want to show ourselves in front of the children. We are strong. Everything is okay.
Yeah.
We cannot cry. Why are you sad, Mom? Why are you sad? No, I'm not sad. But they can see that.
Yeah.
And it's okay to show yourself the way you feel. I'm sad.
You know, it's good for them to see that. So then they can see if they're in a situation, they know how to navigate it. Because when you hide all these things from your kids, they don't really see the process of what it takes to overcome something.
And they will hide it too.
They will hide it. Yeah.
And other people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So no, that's why it's here. You realize you learn that it's better to express and to talk openly. Like even things like puberty. We never talked about it. We never talked about like getting a period or anything like that. I hid it from my mom for the longest time because I was not comfortable. Like I was, and then now I'm like, I went to do you know Elimar? She had a whole session about menstruation and I took my daughter, my youngest, and we made a box and we prepared it with so when it's time, your box is ready.
But she knows already. She knows already. And this
I
is
don't
something
think she learned it in school, but I think this was something that I wanted to do with her because I felt like it was something important that they needed to have guidance, because I feel like I didn't have enough guidance at that moment.
Yeah, I remember in back in my country, we had a TV ad that said, "Okay, we are not talking about that. Let's change the topic." And even people don't feel comfortable, or by that time, people didn't feel comfortable talking about those things.
Yeah.
But it's really important. And this is something that I really like it from here. And it's important for parents to understand.
To make it normal. Like, why are you making it like the taboo? Why? It's not something normal that a girl goes through. And even boys, like they go through their own processes too. So just normalize it. Why are you gonna try to hide it? And another thing that I noticed too is how they treat a girl after they have puberty. Like, you can't go out anymore. Like, you have to be. And then for me, that was really like, for me it was stifling. Like, I want to be with my friends, and I'm like, well, who's gonna be there? Like, and I'm like,
it's different here.
It's and here, like, I mean, I have 2 teenage daughters right now, so I'm trying to balance it out, because I have my upbringing, right? And I'm like, no, like, she can't go,
one here.
And then the other part's like, how is she gonna be socialized? Like, how is she gonna know when situations arise, how to handle situations? How is she, she needs to be a little bit more independent and learn how to get along with people and how to talk to people, so that she can be and assert herself, right? And when you're trying to keep your daughters inside because of fear or what's gonna happen, like, you feel like you don't give them the chance to become like assertive, to become more
make decisions.
Yeah,
I remember when I was a teenager, I did lots of things. My mother did never.
I know, mine
never
knew. Pero I think it's better if you like have an open conversation, knowing where your children are, knowing, like, I still ask for numbers. Like, okay, can I have your friend's mom's number? And like, okay, and we're like driving them around, and we're like making sure, like, it's just having that communication,
and
making it okay for them to go and do something with their friends.
Yeah. And I noticed that we build that relationship since they are very small. For example, when a child does something, I don't know, it's not following instructions or doing something that can put that child in a risk. Instead of taking that child and having the child in a corner, okay, you are not listening to me, we go and talk to the child, and we explain, and we ask, what do you think it might happen if this?
Yeah.
And the child might respond, oh, I can fall down, or something can happen to me. I don't know. This is just
that's called the logical consequences.
Yeah.
And you
children
show them
about
the logical consequences,
and
then they learn much faster. They learn they learn better.
So that's gonna help in the future when you have a teenager, because the child will have a time that they will make their own decisions, and they need to think about it.
Yeah.
Because nobody's there. Mom is not there. Dad is not there.
Yeah.
So should I do something that is not appropriate? Or should I go this way?
Well, that's when the conversation piece comes in. Like, you have to talk to your children about everything. Or, for example, sex, right? Like, we try to talk about it, because then they see, okay, it's not something miraculous that just happens. Like, there's a lot of things involved to get to that point. And then there's consequences when you do those things. So, like, I talk to my teenagers. I'm like, hey, listen, like, you have your whole future ahead of you. If you want, like, you can take this path where you can, meet someone and you can settle down with somebody, but that's going to cut you down. Like, you're going to be taking care of babies, for all of your 20s, So it's a lot of decisions. These decisions need a lot of planning and a lot of thinking about it. It's not something that you're going to do just to have a moment of pleasure. Yeah. So, and that was something the discussions that never happened when I was with my
Yeah, and this is why I like. And here there are, so as I mentioned before, there are so many parenting programs for newcomers as your parents, as me, to understand why we should do things that we didn't back in our countries.
Yeah.
And not, okay, I have to do it this way just because. No, it's understanding why. There are so many programs, for example, Circle of Security, Nobody's Perfect,
Triple P.
Triple P is Positive Parenting Program.
So many.
There are so many parenting programs, and now newcomers have all these resources that most of the time they are free. And they can understand why.
The things that I would see that hinder a parent to go to the program is like probably their time. Like, do they have the time to actually go? Do they have childcare and all those things? So, but a lot of those programs do have childcare.
Yes,
too.
Yes.
So it's just a matter
Some
of
organizing.
Or
online.
Yeah, or online too. And language barriers. I think there's some that are in,
and they have interpreters.
And they have in different languages too, I believe.
Yes, also.
Yeah.
Also.
Like, I think I've seen the book, the Positive Parenting book. I've seen it in Spanish.
And even Circle of Security is in different languages.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of opportunity to get the skills that you need, but it just takes a little bit of planning and knowing when the course is going to start and how you're going to do it. And so, but
and there are other parenting programs for teenagers too. So the good thing is that we have so many resources.
Yeah.
So many resources, and you understand why we should do certain things with our children instead of saying, oh no, in Canada we just let the children do whatever they want. No, it's not about that. Because I didn't understand at the beginning, and now, oh my goodness, I really enjoy it. It changed my life as a mother. Yeah.
No, an important thing is communication. Communication is like, so you communicate with, like, find the help that you think you need and educate yourself so that you can really help your family. That's what really helped us too as a family too.
And it's going to shape the children's future because they will behave in the way we shaped them when they were small.
Yeah.
When they were children.
That's the thing. You got to start as you mean to go. So you keep talking to your kids, even if you don't, like, they absorb everything. So, and even, like, for example, if you want to keep the language too, for me as a parent, that I regret, this is one regret that I didn't do, was I didn't speak enough Spanish to the girls. But because they were like, no, they were not interested. They didn't want to, because it was so, like, in our family, we don't speak Spanish, right? Because my husband speaks English, like, he speaks Polish and Pakistani. So, like, Urdu and Punjabi. So we didn't have that.
The English was the language that,
that's what unites us, right? That's how we communicate in English. But I feel like one of the things that I do appreciate from my family, like coming here, is that my mom and my dad, they talk to me in Spanish.
And your Spanish is awesome.
I've worked hard to maintain it. It was not easy, especially growing up in the 90s when we didn't have all the internet and all the stuff that we have now.
That's the good thing.
It's good in a way, but in like, I would call my cousin, like, or write to my cousins, what is the what is the song that's on the radio right now? Tell me, because I always, like, here we grew up without it. So, like, I know we talked about all the things that are different and the challenges, but there's also a lot of beauty in the stuff that we did bring with us. And I missed it so much. Like, that's why I do what I do now, because I like, when I was a kid, I tried to grab everything, like, era Latino. Anything that was, like, in Spanish or had, like, anything cultural, anything. I was just, like, because I was desperate. We didn't have that. Here now, the kids are lucky now. I think it's a much bigger community. But when we came, it was a very, very tiny community. So my parents were the only ones that kind of kept me connected to the roots. So I really appreciate that. And I appreciate that they really drilled Spanish, the language, into me. I'm telling you guys, start young. Like, if you think they're not going to absorb, they will absorb everything.
I was going to ask you for any advice. You said already.
Yeah.
But I always, when people ask me about that, when we're talking about parenting, that's my advice. Try to speak your language in your house, because English, they will learn English like
I
this.
learned English really
At
quick. I was
school,
their translator
with
for
the
everything.
friends.
Yeah.
But your language, your own language, they will miss it. They will forget. They won't feel comfortable. This is number one. And
they
number
will
two,
challenge you. They will not want to do it. They will not want to do it.
No,
but
try.
you really like, you know, you're the leader, you're the parent, so really push it.
Yeah.
And then also expose them to things in the community too.
Yeah.
Don't alienate yourself. Don't isolate yourself. You look out for more Latino families or people that speak Spanish so they can practice and they can
get involved.
They can feel like it's cool, because my kids, I think for the longest time they thought it wasn't cool. Like, they were like, oh, we don't like salsa. And then now I have a salsa dancer. Like, so I think, you know, like, you just have to push it a little bit.
And you know, Liz, when they are older, something else, do not push your children to speak perfect their second language. Their first language now is English.
Yeah.
Our first language.
That comes off with the positive reinforcement.
It's not like that.
Reinforce them. Don't make fun of them. Don't make fun of them.
Yeah. So children feel embarrassed, so they don't want to speak their second language. And it's the same. I never feel bad with myself when I make a mistake in English, because I always say that English is not my first language.
Yeah.
So my children, Spanish is not their first language. Or your children, they don't need to speak perfect Spanish.
Yeah.
You don't have to speak perfect Ukrainian or perfect Urdu or perfect Punjabi, because this is not your first language, but it's just to communicate.
Yeah.
But if we start pushing our children to have a perfect second language, they are going to feel shy, embarrassed, and they won't want to speak that language. Yeah. So, Liz, thank you so much for this wonderful time, for sharing your experience as a newcomer, as a mom, as a daughter.
It's just a matter of just telling your life and how it goes.
Yeah.
Thank you for being interested. I didn't know why. I'm like, what can I say about it? But
this is just this is
the thing. This is what happens when you actually get to talk to people, and you start to see the similarities in your lives, and you learn from each other.
And there are so many people watching this video right now, and please share it with other newcomers, people who want to come to Canada, people who are newcomers in Canada. Please share this video. Thank you so much for being here with us. See you next time, and don't forget to click like on this video. Bye-bye, and see you next time.